For most of us familiar with the Mahabharata, the epic begins with the story of an ancestor of the Kuru clan, King Shantanu, his marriage to river goddess Ganga, the birth of Bhishma, Bhishma's terrible vow to remain unmarried, and the resulting confusion that follows in the Kuru family. But Mahabharata, the text, doesn't really begin in the past, but in the future. Hello friends, welcome to the fabulous world of stories from Culture Katha. With this video, we start our journey together, exploring the greatest story ever told. The Mahabharata begins with Arjuna's great-grandson, Janamejaya, performing a terrible snake sacrifice in order to kill all the snakes and wipe out the serpent species from the earth. So what does Janamejaya have against the snakes? Why does he want to kill them all? The answer, as always, lies embedded in a story. In this video, we shall take a look at the fateful events that led up to this terrible snake sacrifice and also understand how Janamejaya's story connects to the epic's core story. Now, King Parikshit, who was Arjuna's grandson and Abhimanyu's son, had inherited the Kuru kingdom from the Pandavas. It so happened that one day when Parikshit was out for a hunt in the forest, he happened to spot a deer that he wanted to kill. But the deer kept eluding him till the king finally lost track of the animal. Just then, the king spotted a sage sitting nearby, and the sage had apparently taken up Maunavrata, or the vow of silence, for that day. Unaware of the sage's vow, Parikshit begged the sage to tell him if he had seen the deer. But the sage did not respond, and ignoring the king, he sat down to meditate. The indifference shown by the sage enraged the king, and in a moment of rage, he threw a dead snake lying nearby around the sage's neck and walked away. While the sage sat meditating and mindful of what the king had done to him, his son arrived there and was shocked to see a snake around his father's neck. The sage's son was now enraged, and he cursed Parikshit that he would die bitten by Takshaka, who was the king of serpents. And soon enough, despite several precautions and security measures taken by Parikshit, he dies from the poison bite of Takshaka, just as cursed by the sage's son. When Parikshit's son Janamejaya comes to know the story of his father's death, he decides to have his revenge, not just on Takshaka, but on the entire snake species. He commissions a terrible sacrifice called the Sarpasatra, where priests dressed in black chant such powerful mantras that draw the snakes from all the three worlds to the sacrifice and make them fall into the sacrificial fire. Snakes cry in pain and anguish as they fall into the fire, but the chants are so powerful that the snakes are unable to stop themselves from being drawn towards the sacrificial altar. The image the story evokes is terrifying and violent, as bloody as the Kurukshetra war. Now, one can understand Janamejaya's anger with Takshaka, the snake that bit his father Parikshit. But why should all the snakes be sacrificed? Well, it turns out that the snakes had a curse hanging on their head that they would all die at the sacrifice of Janamejaya. It had been their own mother Kadru who had cursed them to die for disobeying her command in the past. Apart from earning the wrath of their mother, the snakes had also earned the curse of several others because of their venomous bites. In this context, we get to hear the story of the sage Uttanka, who had a score to settle with Takshaka because Takshaka had once stolen a pair of earrings that belonged to Uttanka. And it is this aggrieved sage Uttanka who instigates Janamejaya to perform the snake sacrifice. The snakes had also earned the wrath of a sage named Ruru, by killing his lady love Pramadvara. You may remember listening to the story of Ruru and Pramadvara in one of my previous videos. So it appears that a case had been built up for a war on the snake species. Everyone had a reason to kill them. But if we fast forwarded a little bit into the story of the epic, we'll find that the reverse is also true. Takshaka, the snake king, too had an equally valid reason to kill Parikshit, Janamejaya's father. Later in the epic, we find Arjuna and Krishna overseeing the burning down of the Khandavaprastha forest where Takshaka's family lived. In this forest fire, Takshaka loses several family members, including his wife. So the game is evenly matched with both man and snake pitted against each other. Takshaka and his other snake brothers on one side, and Janamejaya, Uttanka, Ruru and Kadru on the other. As the Sarpasatra progresses, snakes from everywhere start to fall into the sacrificial fire and die a horrible death. It appears as though the entire serpent species would be destroyed. But fortunately, before that can happen, the sacrifice is brought to a halt by a sage named Astika. Now Astika, who was the nephew of another snake called Vasuki, manages to convince Janamejaya to stop the horrific sacrifice. And thanks to him, some snakes, including Takshaka, survive. It is at this point in time, after the sacrifice is aborted, that the Mahabharata is narrated in public for the first time. Sage Vaishampayana, who had learnt the epic from none other than his own guru Vyasa, narrates it to Janamejaya. But when we hear the story of the Sarpasatra, we do wonder about its relevance to the main story of the epic. Why is the great Mahabharata introduced to us in such a strange setting? Strange as it may sound, scholars believe that there are some very good reasons why the Sarpasatra sets the perfect context for the epic. For one, the Mahabharata and the Sarpasatra, which forms the frame story for the epic, are both themed around a war on a specific group, a war in which only a few survive. In a sense, war is comparable to a ritual sacrifice. It's a Shastra Yajna, or the sacrifice of weapons. Again, both stories paint violent pictures of Pralaya or apocalypse, as they both depict total destruction of a clan. In the epic it's the Kurus, and in the Sarpasatra it's the snakes. Both the epic and its frame story are centered around vendetta and revenge. Arjuna killed Takshaka's wife, Takshaka killed Arjuna's grandson. In revenge, Arjuna's great grandson now wants to kill Takshaka. Thus, we find that the cycle of actions and reactions continue, telling us that one cannot escape the consequences of one's actions. More importantly, both stories highlight how violence begets more violence. Of course, the Kurus and the snakes, or the Nagas as they are called, keep crossing paths on several instances later in the epic too, as we shall see in the coming videos. What's fascinating is that all these stories together make the Mahabharata the largest repository of Indian serpent lore. And finally, on the positive side, just as Astika intervenes to save the remaining snakes, Krishna, we find, intervenes to save the Pandava progeny Parikshit. So, both these stories don't just talk about insane destruction, but also about sanity and revival. We'll get into all of this and more in greater detail as we progress with the story of the epic. So friends, stay with me on this epic journey till I meet you all once again over my next video. It's Sumati Sridhar signing off. Tata, bye bye, take care.